Hello. It is Friday. I think it's October 11th. I'm losing track of time. But it is noon Eastern here on a Friday. You know what that means. It's small biz breakdown time. I'm one of your hosts, Brent Leary. We don't really have hosts. We just have equals. There's equal smarts. There's equal experiences. But it's all here for you folks. I'm a little, dragging just a bit because, you do all this conference hopping, and at my age, I'm starting to feel a little bit. So if I say anything stupid, it's not me. It's the travel. Speaking of travel, I know he had even harder travel story than I did because we were at the same place, but we did not get home at the same time. Leland from Oregon. Hey, Leland.
Hey, Brent. It's good to be home. It's good to be with the wife and kids. And it makes me not want to go to the next conference.
Yeah. Well, my travel difficulties I put solely on myself, but yours, not so much. So I'm just glad you're
Yeah, I'm glad that I made it back, and it wasn't like we've got to delay you an entire day, so you've got to get a hotel room or something like that. I've had that happen. It's not fun.
Not fun at all. But you know who is fun? And I hear there's always lots of fun in magical Medina. It is the one and only Evena Taylor.
Oh, yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Oh, aren't you guys sweet? And I think I'm the only person in this group that was supposed to be at a conference, but I decided to not go to this conference. And I'm glad that I did, although I miss my wonderful friends at X Day in Question Pros, X Day in Austin, which if you are into the latest, greatest, you're into the market research, customer experience, that is just an outstanding conference. It's one I actually go to as an attendee to learn things.
Very nice. I like that. I'm sure you were missed too, Evena.
Oh, I love them. I'm always featured because I think I was customer like 5,000.
That's cool.
Which is actually, now they have millions and millions. So
that means a lot.
It means a lot. They always make fun of me.
You're in the platinum collection.
I'm in, yeah. I always joke that the CEO of the company was my customer service rep and messed up my data, but that's okay.
Well, we are still traversing the country to get to all the folks that join us while Evena wipes off her.
Every time. That's the only time I'm on screen.
It is the one and only Shashi from Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, where absolutely nothing happens. I didn't mean it that way, but it does still kind of go that way. Shashi, hey, what's going on?
Hey, everyone. Good to see you all. And good, Leland. Good to see you here despite all the adventures that you had. I'm Shashi Bellamkonda. My job between lunchtime is I'm a analyst at the Infotech Research Group. Very happy to be here today.
And we are always happy to see you. And I wish I could say this for our next person. No, I'm just kidding. He is the cold one. Some call him the bold one. I guess maybe I'm the only one who calls him the old one, but not for long. John Colder Ice Lawson, what's up?
What's up? If you say something stupid, it's Friday.
Yeah. Ooh. I deserve that one, so I'll just keep moving on. All right, folks. Another week. Doesn't it feel like it's been like more than a week since the last time we did this?
No, you must have had a really rough week, guys. You guys.
It's that traveling, and Leland. I mean, I feel more sorry for Leland. I don't deserve any pity because I brought that stuff on myself. But I think there's a lot of people that are really starting to feel, at least the folks that are traveling, that are really starting to feel what's going on with the government shutdown. Have you guys individually start to feel anything with regard to that?
Even traveling, I didn't. and in the issues that I had weren't necessarily because of travel or like the TSA or aircraft controllers or anything like that. There was a bit of a weather issue in and around Las Vegas. It's kind of their rainy season, and ultimately the reason that the plane for me got delayed was because the flight before mine, a couple of Kevin's decided to pregame their trip to LA and bring their own booze onto the flight, and ended up having to get kicked off. And so
Wow,
That's exciting. That's some drama.
that's
now I
exciting.
didn't get to see the drama. I didn't get to see them kicked off or anything like that. I just felt the lasting effects of their bad decisions.
I hate when that stuff happens. You have absolutely nothing to do with it, and that happens to you. Eesh. So nobody's feeling anything, huh? Nothing yet, huh?
My husband was in St. Louis, and he had thankfully an uneventful trip, meaning that the trip out was good. Everything was on time. The weather cooperated. He got through security. We're in Cleveland, and poor man went to the gate, got there like 2 hours early because I was convinced that the security line would be out the door. You never know. You never know with us. But he said that his trip was terrific. The only disappointment was that he said 50 feet from the arch and was able to see the arch, obviously, but you couldn't go in. You couldn't see the museum,
Oh,
that type of thing. So that was disappointing. But these are all first world problems.
yep. What about you, Mr. Ice?
Nah, man. We'll see. But not yet.
No, so far so good then for you. You know what? I would have to just send a shout out to the TSA folks because I didn't see not one angry face.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I was really expecting to see you get some attitude or something, but at
I
least
was
right now it's nothing.
I was concerned because I kept hearing news stories about large cities. So my husband, on his way out, flew to Chicago, and his way back was in Philly. But those large cities were relatively unaffected. I don't know. I'm surprised that Atlanta wasn't more affected.
That I bet when
Big
things,
airport.
I think it'll happen at some point if this thing drags on much longer. Then I think they're doing the fringe airports at the moment just to kind of like prove a little bit of a point. When they start getting real upset, I think that's what's going to happen.
Here's what's funny though. I mean, I just go back to last week. What Leland said last week is so different this week. It's amazing what a difference a week makes. Because I was in the camp of, it's not going to look good for the Democrats. And right now it's not looking good for the Republicans. It's a whole week later.
All right. So I explained that because you just said what Leland said. I have no idea. I don't remember anything from week to week. So what are you referring to?
No, I mean, it's like, we were talking about the shutdown and how it's going to affect the two sides. And, a week ago, it was looking like it was going to be more the Democratic shutdown. And now it seems like it's like, the Republican shutdown.
All right. So what made you change your opinion? What's going on?
It's not me. It's just the public opinion kind of slipped.
Well, what are you saying about the public opinion that has you saying that now?
Probably my slanted news network that I'm watching.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask. I was gonna be like, I'm not seeing that
network.
still. I'm still seeing it's still kind of the Democrats, issue. And one of the things that I've seen that them fight over is this. It's back in 2020. They did tax credits to help offset the price of health insurance, and
Right.
it's like I took advantage of that one year. But it was Democrats that put an expiration date on that. And so it's like when you look at the facts, it's still, I mean, it's like they had control. They could have said, yeah, these tax credits, we're going to put it till 2060 or 2060. We're just going to put like a really large date on it. But they didn't. And now they're like, oh crap, those are going to go away. Well, let's fight against the bill that we did actually vote for, and now we're not going to vote for until we get our way. And so from my side, from the news that I'm seeing, it's still Democrats are bad and Republicans are just trying to get this through and get the government started.
So that's coming from your slanted news.
My slanted news.
So everybody's got their slants going.
It's interesting. That's interesting.
Shashi, even though you want in on this conversation,
I opt out.
I fall firmly on. I would want to see. I have seen, because I typically go to print because I cannot stand to listen to people talk over each other and yell. It's really distracting and upsetting to me. And so I try to lean on print, and you got to give credit where credit is due. As a marketer, the Republican Party does a fabulous job of messaging, which in my mind is so funny because all the creative people are typically on the left, like all the people that do this kind of thing. And so I believe it or not, I tend to go with Leland on this one as someone who falls firmly in the middle of giving credit where credit is due. I think Republicans are definitely great messaging experts. They do a really good job of showing you what they want you to see. I actually have seen data which I just do not understand. I have seen surveys. Shashi, have you seen these surveys going out about to what Brent was saying? I have seen these surveys out there that, and it's, I don't know, Brent, is it double digits or is it just, a handful of points where people who were surveyed were saying that the Republicans are to blame? I don't care who's to blame. They need to work their stuff out.
Yeah, I think the latest couple of surveys I saw was slight edge to the Democrats in terms of Republicans being like maybe 7 or 8 points more the reason for the shutdown than the Democrats. But there's a very big, either both are responsible or I don't know who is responsible. So
I lean on that.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to a small business called Live Circle. Davis is such a good business person that he came on our Instagram feed and told me that I have not looked at his business proposal for his esports company. So I'm just saying, like, that's how persistent you should be, right? So that's great. Unlike some of the people on this call, I try to listen to both sides of the news. So there's no slanted news network. NPR in the morning, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and in the evening, Live Now from Fox. Now, I find it very interesting that the Live Now, there is not much commentary. They just like report, hey, this Democratic senator is speaking or this Republican senator is speaking. So I find that quite balanced, right? I don't think people understand what the actual problem is. Yes, we are hearing that the healthcare costs will go up, but there isn't any commentary that says like, hey, here's the reason, here's how you should solve it. And I don't think the common business person cares about this fight between two parties. In fact, they rather, like one of the persons interviewed said, put everybody in a room and don't let them come out till they come to an agreement. So I think there's a lot of drama is what I think.
Maybe until people start. When is the open exchange start for next year? Was it November?
Oh, yeah.
And when you start to sign up for your coverage, and the numbers are going to, I think we're about a month away from people really getting overexcited about this. Because it's right now, it's still kind of, theoretical until you start choosing your health insurance that maybe you paid $300 or $400 for this year is going to go to 1,000 next year. I think that's when you'll start hearing people get a little.
Nobody asked for this, but I just have to say it. You know what I really wish? I wish all members of Congress would have to live by their choices and their decisions. So if the government is shut down, you don't get paid.
Exactly.
And you need to have the same health care that your constituents have. And I think if they maybe experience the actual life of their constituents, we might not have so many of these issues.
Let me throw one other thing out here, because I'm not sure if any other administrations have threatened to not pay the federal government workers who are, through no reason of themselves, not able to work. And what must it feel like for you? You know, you've got a family, you got kids, you got bills, because the mortgage doesn't stop because the government shut down. So you can't work, and it's not due to anything that you're responsible for. And then you hear, well, you know what? You might not even get paid the back pay, or you might just get fired. I mean, what kind of impact do you think that could potentially have on the economy? And as a small business person, we always have to factor in all this stuff that we have absolutely no control over. But if thousands of people get laid off or fired, or they don't get paid, and even if they're like these TSA folks, could you imagine being like a TSA guy or gal, and you're working and you're not getting paid, and you hear your president, the president of the country, say, you know what, some of these folks, they don't even deserve to get this money. What kind of impact must that have on you? I mean, I know we're going a little bit out of the realm, but could you imagine if a customer said to you, you know what, you've been doing our, you've been providing all this stuff for us, but you know what, we're just gonna like say no, we're not gonna pay you because we don't think you deserve it. I would go crazy. I mean, how do you think that is, not just the individual thoughts, but how does that overall impact if these folks find out they're not going to get paid, or they get fired? What is that going to do to, small America, middle America, all anywhere that we kind of operate? What do you think is going to do?
I want to weigh in on that. I want to connect what Ivana said about messaging, right? Ivana, you're absolutely right. The party itself, the messaging is absolute. Everybody is like repeat, says the same thing. Except where I think they're going wrong is kindness, meaning in the kind of words that they use, like, hey, we're going to fire people, we're going to stop giving them money. And also some of the actions that we are seeing on TV where, like, I mean, if you want to arrest somebody, like, do it. Usually it's not in front of cameras as much as it is now, right? So I think a little bit of kindness and gentleness in how they talk about it would be good, because you're absolutely right. Like, people are already worried, and if you start using words like that, I think they'll be worried even more. Right.
I agree. I put out an email yesterday, just spontaneously to my audience, and I asked them how they were doing. There were no links, there was no nothing. There was just like I would send an email to you, right? Okay. It's been a while. How are you doing? I want to know what's going on with you so that I can share on this panel. I just about cried when I got some of the responses. I've had a handful of small businesses who have closed. I wish Ramon were here. One had a cyber attack and could not recover their data.
Wow. And
had to close.
I'm sorry.
I've had people who, I know, it's terrible. I've had people who were hoping, working on a side hustle and lost their job. And now, they have to be in full blown, I was kind of disheartened. But I wanted to talk about a message to Shashi's point that I actually got from our friend Brian Moran. I was kind of hoping he would be here today. He talked about behavior. You mentioned kindness, and he, I think, wrote something about this. He wrote it in my email, talked about ghosting in terms of when people are interviewing for a job, they're being ghosted, and also whether you are on a sales side of the situation. And his whole thing was, what is this new behavior? Right? What is this new way of being that it's considered okay to ghost people? So I clearly am seeing a difference in how people talk to each other, how they engage with each other, where if I would not run into a rude person for maybe like a month, I might run into a rude person at the store about once a week. So there's definitely a shift, and I've actually seen this shift before, because I'm originally from Serbia and I moved here in the 1970s. My vocabulary and my speaking is very, very different from the people that you hear. You know, my friend PJ, right?
Just saw him this week.
I know you did. So PJ came much later than I did. And if you were to hear the two of us speak Serbian, we're from the same place. If you were to hear the two of us speaking to each other, you would notice that my accent is slightly different. I kind of sound like I do here. His, when he speaks, tends to sound more angry.
That's PJ though.
Yeah,
No,
that's it.
no, it is not. It is not PJ. It is. I'm
It's
here
just
to
PJ,
tell.
isn't it?
No, it is not. It is. If you were to speak to some of the folks on my team, there is a certain accent there from what I call like a persistent disappointment. And I'm seeing a lot of that where people are working, doing the very best they can. It's kind of like when you study for the test and then you take the test and fail or get a C after you studied like a crazy person. So that's the sense that I'm getting, Shashi. It's like kindness is missing.
Persistent disappointment. It's so funny though, because and I haven't seen the absolute latest surveys where they're talking about sentiment.
Because the government is shut down. That's why you're not getting
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But it felt like up until a couple of weeks ago that stuff was still saying small business people are still very positive about things. I would love to know what it is right now because so much has happened in the last couple of weeks. It would be interesting to see what if anything has changed by way of sentiment. And by the way, shout out to Pierre for joining us and as usual, dropping dimes in the comments section there.
I have a question for John. I have a question for you, John. Maybe you can explain this thing to me, and it relates to what Brent is talking about.
Does wireless billing get you paid faster? Oh, sorry.
So, John, last week you said we were talking about the holiday season and fourth quarter, and you were saying that the holiday season is expected to be, could I use the word robust?
Yeah, that's what I probably said.
I don't know. You were optimistic, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And what I'm kind of confused about that I'd like for you to explain is consumer confidence and spending is kind of like down. Like I went to get milk. It was $7 for the brand that I like.
Damn.
Right. And it's like, and I've been seeing that like individual prices of products have increased. Back to the spending for the holidays though, right? Like 60% of folks are in debt. And I'm hearing that they're gonna spend their credit. They're gonna do holidays on credit. I mean, talk about that. Like, right, money is missing.
They've been doing that.
It doesn't buy as much as it used to. The dollar is down. Inflation, I don't care what the single digit number is. Like, right. You know where I'm going. Or do you know where I'm going with this? Yeah. And I heard that 24% of the people are still paying off last year's holiday bill.
Wow.
Gosh.
Their credit cards. So, John, like, explain, where does the optimism and good holiday season come from, and what should small business owners be doing?
I'm not going to say, so to kind of qualify what I was saying last week, I did say it was going to be robust and all that, but I didn't. I remember when I said it, what I was thinking and what came out were kind of different. What I was also kind of referring to was the fact that prices have gone up so much. So it's like there's going to be less under the tree, but you're going to spend more for it. So the numbers are going to look good, but it's going to be
I heard
much
that
less
one.
stuff.
I heard
Yeah.
that too. They're like, oh, it's going to be the best, like 290 billion blow. I'm like, yeah, because everything's like 30% more.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, shout out Cordelia for joining us.
Cordelia, hey.
Is she
Also,
one of Go ahead.
shout out to the Instagram folks who joined us. A lot of small business owners there. If
Shout
I can-
y'all out. We shout y'all out too. With
What are they saying, Shashi? Or did they have comments on what we're talking about?
Not many other than DK Davis, who actually thanked us for the shout out about his persistence. But that's a little bit more personal in the sense, like I know a lot of these people, right? I think Instagram that way has become a little bit more connected network, and people don't think of it as Facebook. That's why they're on Instagram. But I was hearing the story about the number of people who hold stocks in the US has actually gone up from 56 to 62%. The reason I'm bringing up in this conversation is it's a K economy, meaning people who own stocks are actually very happy because, like, for whatever reason, stocks keep on going up, driven by multiple factors. So anybody business that is catering to those people, I think they're still spending. Plus, to your point, they're spending a lot. The amount of credit card debt has also gone up, right? Because they feel, hey, if I need to, I sell some stock and pay off my credit card debt, which I think would be a foolish thing to do. But
But here's the problem with that, though, Shashi, in terms of the younger generation, they don't have money to put in the stock market. They don't. I mean, with me and John, we're going back and forth, in the chat a couple of days ago. Maybe that was last night. I don't remember. I've been buying stocks for a while, and something I bought like in the 90s. I didn't need the money, so I'm able to let it just sit there, even when it's bad days and all that stuff. But generally speaking, stock market goes up over time. But these kids today, particularly the ones that are kind of participating in the gig economy, where they don't have a job that gives you benefits and time off and health insurance and all that, they can't afford to do some of the stuff that we were able to do. And, they're almost sort of like, what the hell is 401k? Well, what the hell is that? I mean, time off without having to, they don't know any of this stuff. So it's really hard for them to participate in things like what we've been able to participate in. And they're constantly playing catch up. I mean, I don't know. At least the government employees, at least they had some good benefits and stuff like that. But now, because of things that are completely outside of their purview, they're either, not getting paid, won't get back paid, or might just get right out fired. And they had absolutely nothing to do with it. It's got to be very frustrating for that.
I pulled some interesting stats this morning. I think this one comes from eMarketer, and it's kind of like generational, like we've been talking about. So it says Gen Z expects to cut holiday spending by 23% this year alone. 84% of consumers plan to cut spending over the next 6 months. Nearly half of Gen Z runs out of money each month. 64% of Gen Z are focused on reducing expenses. Now, listen to this. Half spend zero on dating, and I've got anecdotal evidence of that one. 18% budget for activities with friends, focused on basic survival and savings. And then they go on to like millennials, right? They're like looking at discretionary spending. Boomers are focused on healthcare and retirement security. And overall, everything is like KPMG is like 70% of consumers expect a recession. So it's like healthcare, food, transportation are the top.
I thought all of that got fixed. I'm serious. I thought all of this got fixed. we have gotten rid of all of that, didn't we?
Yeah.
I thought
And that's another point, John. That's another thing. I only read this. I don't know if it was a study or anything, but when we're talking about spending for the holidays and in fourth quarter, they're calling it a dual wallet economy. So the people who have a lot of money are going to be spending that money, and I'm wondering if that's going to impact certain segments for sure.
There's definitely a divide, and I definitely think it's getting bigger between the haves and the have-nots, and I think you're seeing that, and we'll see it more and more over the next,
And
quarter or two.
that's going to hurt I think about this all the time. We see it with software, right? When certain software launches and they launch to small business and they're like really, really affordable, and then they get bigger and bigger, and then they're like, why are we like dealing with a million people who have no money when we can just be selling to a few people with lots of money, right? And I'm thinking the idea is for a lot of businesses too to redirect their efforts, obviously, to the people who have money and not the people who don't have money. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Leland, what do you see from Small Biz Trends?
I mean, I do see, like when you do kind of have that split, and it's like I look, we went to Oracle, and to me, even going there, it still really seems like enterprise level software that, yeah, some small businesses could get into and utilize, but for the average small business owner, it's not necessarily the most I would say like affordable, user friendly, like diving into just everything that Oracle has to offer may not be the best solution for them. It's more tailored to companies that, do a million or so in sales, who have constantly getting products out, not necessarily the average storefront, the average plumber, electrician, those kinds of things. And so that's why I do think that, having softwares that can, exist in both spheres. They have their enterprise level, but they also still have solutions for small business, and they don't sacrifice either is so important. And because, yeah, small businesses could, it's like, oh man, this is starting to get more and more complicated, and now I need something different because they just keep packing on the features and expect me to be a master when I have 20 different hats to wear and I can't spend all my time on this one piece of software.
Yeah, let me kind of piggyback that, because I was there, and there's Oracle and there's Oracle NetSuite. NetSuite is there. Well, originally, I don't want to give a history lesson, but Larry Ellison basically gave money to help Evan Goldberg, who is the co-founder of NetSuite, who used to work at Oracle. He had the idea of basically giving, instead of having the traditional installed software, why don't we just host the software and make it easy for people to do their accounting without having to worry about buying hardware and software and stuff. Anyway, so that NetSuite came out of Oracle, and then about 9 years ago, Oracle bought it back for $9 billion. And so Oracle is like the Falcon Millennium, or the Millennium Falcon, whatever. It has bought so many companies, billions of dollars, and now a lot of their infrastructure is what a lot of those companies they bought are now built on. And so NetSuite is built for, I would not say like the mom and pop small business. There might be some that are using it, but it's really built towards the upper end of the small business, going into the mid-level enterprise, and like companies that are built for scale right from the beginning. I talked to a company while I was there called Bureau. Only has 25 employees, but out of the gate, they wanted to use something like the NetSuite platform because they are predicting that in the next 2 years or so, they're going to be at a scale that most small business would dream of. And so they wanted to have the platform right from the beginning so that they don't have to retrofit after. I'm guessing most small business that we kind of are talking about will never have that need. We won't able to do that. But there are so many levels and sizes and industries of businesses that are across the spectrum that even though most of the ones that we talk about will never do that, there are a ton of them that will. And they won't have as many employees, but they will still have millions of customers they have to service and do transactions for and do all that stuff. So this idea of a small business, it's like 100 people can define what a small business is, and you'll get 105 different definitions. So people on the lower end, they don't have these problems, but people that are even starting from ground zero but have an idea of what they want to be, they are willing to put in these platforms because they think, yeah, we're small, we only have 10 customers now, but in 2 years we might have 5,000, 50,000, 100,000, and we want to be able to have this already baked in so we don't have to try to retrofit and go from spreadsheets to trying to put all this things together. So it really depends on who you're talking with. But when I was at this event, it was definitely the upper end of small businesses. And these folks were like business as usual. They were like, they weren't saying anything about problems or issue. I didn't hear anything. Not like the people that you were talking to, because I think there's just so many different, the spectrum of business people are just all over the place.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
I was going to say, I will say, a lot of what happened over at Oracle was talking about AI. And I think that will, and that is everywhere. But I think that's also going to be the thing that allows small businesses that wouldn't necessarily do NetSuite to do NetSuite, because then you're getting AI agents and all of these things in there that will do a lot of the work that you had to spend months to learn to do. Now all of a sudden in plain English you can say, hey, do this for me, and it'll do it for you. And that's one of the cool things that I saw out of that. Is like, that makes it a lot more approachable for someone like Brent was saying, who has aspirations to become a high scaled up business, who wants to become a medium-sized business to even a large business like Bureau. And for those of you who don't know, that's the one that Tom Holland, aka Spider-Man, is wanting to and they got my hopes up. I heard that name and I recognized it, and I'm like, we get Tom Holland here? That is so awesome.
He wasn't there.
Rug pulled out. I'm like, that would have been cool.
But you know what? No. Because I did, that's who I was referring to. I talked to their SVP of operations, and those, I mean, just Leland talked about Tom Holland. You see a lot of these companies like Ryan Reynolds, like these small businesses that are really built off the back of somebody very well known and popular, and the small business is not their revenue driver. It's, it's something they do on the side, so to speak. And you got to set those guys apart, because even in my conversation with her, she was like, in Bureau, which is a non-alcoholic beverage that they literally, it's only a year old. He said they're going to do they came out with a new coffee, and they're partnering with this other small business. Well, guess who owns the other small business? Robert Downey Jr. So these companies immediately have all the cachet, and they don't need any marketing budget. They don't need a whole bunch, although they still have money, but they're in a completely different realm of small business than the people that we're talking about. But the one thing at the Sweet World event that was really refreshing to me is, there's a lot of AI talk, but it wasn't around marketing. It wasn't around content creation. It was around operational effectiveness. It was around and once again, NetSuite, mostly a lot of financial people, a lot of CFO kind of people are doing that. But they're talking about using AI to make their quarterly close of their, have a better handle on their money situation, to be able to process more transactions. That was really interesting to me, because most of the conferences I've gone to over the course of the last couple of years with AI, it's always around content creation. It's always around marketing. And I know it's important, and it's really important to small business, because they're looking for customers. I mean, that's the thing. But it was kind of refreshing to see. I know it's an upper end level of small business, but they were looking beyond just the marketing and the content and the email summarization and all that kind of stuff. They were looking at it operationally, because that's really where you're going to get the most impact from this AI stuff, because everybody's using it for the marketing, which makes it very tough for your message to go through. But there are ways that you can use this AI stuff to really make operational efficiency part of your story. I don't know if we're getting to that part yet. There's some surveys saying that there are a lot of small businesses that are starting to look at the operational impact and get beyond the marketing and the content creation stuff, which I am very happy for, but I still don't think it's enough. I still think small businesses are still getting flooded with the content creation aspects of AI and not getting to the things that can really help them run the business. Is that a mic drop?
Very, very well said.
Must be. I think that's the evidence, if it's just silence on the end of it. Like, what?
I think it's more just
follow up on that?
capabilities. I mean, we've gone from, regular old back and forth with AI in a conversational chatbot. That's what we started with, and that's all you could do with it. And so now, as we get into agentic AI, it's able to actually take more actions, use more tools, and things like that. So that's why you're seeing it move from just content creation, because that's all it could do was create content at one point. It didn't have the ability to use any tools. It didn't even have the ability to read up until maybe a year and a half ago. So, I mean, it's just the nebulousness of the technology that you're seeing, that's more so than, small business owners don't know what they're doing. It's just there wasn't a lot available.
Didn't say you didn't know what they're doing. I think that, and I think it's a mixture. I think you're right about that. But I also think that the stuff that gets the most attention and goes viral has absolutely nothing to do with the kind of the nitty gritty process automation and workflow.
That never has. I mean, if I see one more video,
that's where people make money, though.
And Tupac.
Oh, yeah.
If I see more dead people walking across my screen this week, it's just annoying. But those are the things that go viral.
Gets the eyeballs. That's exactly right. And it overtakes the stuff that they really could be focusing on, that could really have a much bigger impact on their business, because people are sending the videos of stuff. And I'm not trying to downgrade any of that, but I'm just saying that's the stuff that gets all the attention.
Time, money, and effort is being wasted.
But
I'm so glad that Sora.
No, go ahead, Leland.
I was gonna say, I'm so glad that Sora has started putting in the watermark, because I was even scrolling through, and there was a video of a bird, like an eagle, coming down and trying to get a cat, and my wife is like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "It's fake." How do you know? See Sora right there. Oh yeah. Anytime you see that now, it's fake.
Yeah.
Hey, if you see any Shashi
about
videos doing something bad, please let me know. It's fake.
Yeah, I mean, well, what that's doing is, everything's fake now. Everything's fake. That's what we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, everything's going to be fake. When you see it, it's just going to be fake.
Well, I mean, and that's why I say
in our mind, yeah.
But that's why I said, and I think we're all kind of saying that the small business folks, unfortunately, are getting a bit swept up into all that, because that's where the hype is. But I think there's opportunities, and I think we all see opportunities for using this thing strategically that could really have much greater impact than what I think they're being led to do. And I think that's the the biggest tragedy in all this, because John, I think you said it earlier, the divide is getting bigger because the folks that know the capabilities of this stuff, they're not running around, creating these weird videos. They're the ones using this stuff to increase operational effectiveness, process flow, workflow automation, using agents to do stuff, to be able to make decisions and then autonomously do things in their benefit. While the majority of us are, look at that video. Did you see me in that? Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that seems to be what's making this divide even bigger at this point.
So I have a question for all of you. Like, it's not easy using any of the tools that we mentioned to get something that will replace a video that you get like a freelancer or an agency to create. Invariably, there'll be, if you're trying to put text into these videos, there will be the spelling mistakes, and no matter how much you tell the LLM to correct the spelling mistake, it'll say, hey, here you go, typo corrected, and it'll still have the same typo. So I don't think these tools are ready for small businesses just to do any complicated stuff yet. It's
Yeah, but
I think it's good for
when you say yet, how long?
Yeah, they will learn, right? Like
no, I'm asking you, how long do you think it'll take before it actually is able to put words on a video and do it right?
Another couple of months or weeks.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's only a couple of months away.
I'm already seeing really good results in images for words. Like I've had ChatGPT give me YouTube thumbnails, perfect spelling, no mess ups with the words, and it'll, everything really great. It's not going to take very long for that to go right into video.
Yeah. I've seen you could take a transcription from a call like this, and all these different people talking and different names and different language in terms of like names. And like, at least for Gemini, because I've been using that quite a bit, I'll feed it in and it'll get the most unique sounding names spelled correctly. And it will associate that name to the voice. Mm-hmm. And before I would do that, and I would get a bunch, like one big paragraph with just user 1, user 2. Now, the person's name spelled correctly, what they said done correctly, new paragraph, second person's name. It's not taken long at all for these systems because they get smarter and smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
So you're saying, maybe you don't. It's not there today, or this morning, but it might be there by the end of the night.
That's
so
right.
You do have to be aware of it, but you also have to be aware of what to focus on and what is your core business.
But don't get too stuck on that.
I think you need to be more stuck than they are.
I'm just saying. I mean, we've lived through the video game era, and I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, 90s. It's like, why are you spending all that time on the video game? I don't know. They're just playing video games all day. Now all we do in business is play video games. So, I mean, at some level, the people getting used to actually creating with AI is going to be the skill that they're going to need at some level.
So let me ask you this. How many people that are playing the games are making money from the games? Or are
everybody that's making money with tech today probably played games when they were kids in the 90s?
Yeah, and a lot of those people who were playing the games in the 90s did not make any money off of that, and they're not making off of what they do now, even though they're playing games. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with playing games, but keep it in the right context. I mean, if you're not making money off the games, it's nice to play with them, but don't get obsessed with them. I just see a lot of people getting obsessed with social and AI, but not from a context of their business. It's like, oh, I see this brand new opportunity, but it has absolutely nothing to do with what they're currently doing. And so what ends up happening is it becomes a bit of a waste of time because it doesn't lead to anything. It'd be great if they did it and it led to something, but I'm not seeing it lead to anything, at least not right now.
You don't have the vision, bro.
No, I have the vision because I know how I use it and what I'm getting from it, but I don't see it
No, but I'm
resonating.
saying none of us can see what's over the horizon. We don't know where it's coming. Just like you said
I
about
think-
people doing social media. I
Josh,
know people that I used to say were spend way too much time on social media. Today,
I
there's
still say that.
content creators that are okay.
So I think you have to connect it back to your business, whether you play games or create videos, right? At a conference, I heard this example of a hotel in the Middle East who created a video of some cat in their lobby, and the video went viral. So guess what? A lot of people came to see the cat in the lobby, but they didn't increase their business. So in fact, they had to like start crowd control and things like that. So I mean, maybe they expected their brand to get well recognized because of that. Things can go wrong. You should try new things, but be aware that you can fail at some of these viral campaigns.
Hey, quick shout out to Ayana for joining us. Thank you for the
Hey,
comment.
Ayana, what's up,
Hey.
neighbor?
Yeah, she used to come to our show too. She just cut us all out. Yeah, she got better things.
We have
to do.
not done a show in a month, bro.
Did we do one last week? I can't even
Maybe.
remember. Anyway,
Yes, exactly.
moving on. Let's move on.
So are you
I
going
was
to
gonna say,
Dreamforce
I-
anyone?
Hmm?
Sorry, I was asking if anyone is going to Dreamforce.
I have been to like damn near 20 Dreamforces, and unfortunately, I won't be able to go this year because
Okay.
at the very same time that Dreamforce is going on this year, Oracle's AI World will be going on as well, and we're doing a CRM Players show broadcast.
Oh, okay.
So we got to do that. But I will. So I will expect a full report, Shashi.
No, I'm not going.
Oh, I thought you were going.
No, I was just curious because it seems like a lot of companies are exhibiting, so maybe to get some feedback from there.
There are so many conferences. This week, while I was at NetSuite, SAP had an event.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 other things were going on at the same time. Are you guys feeling or going to more shows in the fall, or attending, even if it's just virtual? Are you seeing an uptick in shows?
I think people want to meet, at Infotech, the number of attendees for most of our events is actually going up. It seems like the revenge of people who are working from home, right? They want to meet other people.
Are you choosing not to go to things, although you're getting invited to a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I'm choosing not to go.
Why?
I find that like at the exhibits, I'm not getting value from the exhibits, right? Because they're filled with sales and marketing people. And I want to hear something else. I'm not getting value from the content because to the marketing events, let me qualify, right? I have content marketing, marketing events, entrepreneurial events, those types of things. When it comes to the workshops and the content that's delivered, the audience tends to be entry level marketing babies, right? So these are young folks who are entering the marketing industry, the content marketing industry, the entrepreneurial world. And so the content itself is not really that much for me. So it's like, it doesn't meet my qualifications. It's not going to give me something new that I haven't seen before. I mean, my criteria are, I need to meet people who are making an impact, who influence small business. I need to learn about software and tools that's going to make it affordable and easy for them to reach and convert customers. Or like I need to learn something to become a better marketer, right? So I really the only 2 conferences I've been going to are Zoho Day and X Day in Austin. I just had personal reasons that I couldn't go this time. But I learn something. It fits those criteria for me. But I find that the social media marketing, content marketing, some of these other conferences are extremely expensive. We are talking about tickets. This does not include travel. We are talking about tickets that are $1,200, $1,500, $2,500
Damn.
to see. Oh, and there are thousands of people. So it becomes impossible to make the kind of a connection and build the relationships that I would want to build.
Well, you,
Those-
Mr. Ice, you go to a lot of things, or you used to go to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I exit. I'm on my exit strategy. I don't have to go anymore. I go when I want to. I'm going to Pride this weekend. That's what I'm doing.
Well, hey, that-
Yeah.
What about Shashi? What's been the best? I know you go to a lot of stuff. What's been the best conference for you this year in terms of whatever it is that you wanted to get from it?
Very interesting. I think if I go to a vendor conference, obviously it's more learning more about them and their thing. I'm actually looking forward to NVIDIA next week.
Oh,
Not
that'll
next
be a
week,
good one.
2 weeks, yeah. So that's here. I think learning about how fast the technology is moving is a big thing for me. That's why I like to go to these conferences. Like, I'll give you an example. In my research, I'd said the way to identify whether a person is a customer or a prospect on your website, right, is still large enterprises haven't solved that problem. But I was sitting in this session and this company was like showing almost an exact diagram that I was thinking was futuristic, and they were saying that it worked, right? So that was like a good moment for me to learn. And to John's point, things are moving so fast, like it's not like it'll come in a couple of years. So that's interesting. Obviously, Zoho is top of my list because the amount of access that you get to their entire team and learn what they're doing is amazing. So
Yeah, Leland, I know you've got one that's coming up with Adobe Max. What are you looking to get out of something like that? I think that's one of those conferences. I don't think I've been to face to face or direct, just virtual. But what are you hoping to get from that?
So I'm kind of wanting to see what the way that they're going to try to leverage, the small business audience, because when I was talking with my rep, she was saying that they usually wanted to go after influencers. They wanted to go after content creators because it's a very creative platform, Photoshop and video editing, and I was like, I really don't got a lot of those. I got a lot of small business owners, but they like to market. And so they are going to be creating videos. They are going to be editing photos. And of course, you got like Adobe Acrobat, and you got other software that do appeal to a small business audience. And so I kind of want to see what they're going to be doing to try to draw in that small business audience. Overall, when it comes to like these events, I was talking with someone from Oracle about it, and we were just spitballing numbers, and it was $1,500 ticket with 8,000 people coming. That's $12 million. But when you look at it, it's like, oh, that probably cost about that much to put this whole thing on.
Don't forget about the sponsors that pay a lot of that too.
Oh yeah, they're I don't know what they're paying, but and heck, it might have even been more because they had a Pitbull concert at the end of the day. And I'm just sitting here thinking about that, and I was like, even if they made no money, or even if they lost a little bit of money, they brought in 8,000 people, told them all this wonderful news about AI and how it can really revolutionize their production process, their shipping process, all of this thing that could identify problems and issues and give real-time solutions. And that to me is like, well, you just took 8,000 people and made them more of a customer. They're cementing themselves into your product, and now they are less likely to leave and go to another product. And then next year you do it to 8,500 or 9,000 people, and it just ingrains them even more. And I think that that's ultimately like what these companies are trying to do with these events, is just really try to cement and root their customers, and keep them for life, hopefully.
Yeah. Pierre says his best conference for him was Marketing Analytics Summit. But he
Yep,
was,
I've been there once. It's really good.
yeah, but he's saying he emphasizes that one because he speaks there rather than attend. That's a good reason to like that one too, because I'm guessing that might also have a little financial incentive to go along with that as well. Anyway, we're at the top of the hour. Let's do some last thoughts. Let's see. Who wants to go first?
I have something to share.
Okay. I'm
I
going to
was
start doing
reading.
this. When I say going to the last thoughts, I'm going to give everybody the spotlight. So there you are, Shashi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's in the spotlight. So I was reading a Yext study that was very interesting, and the takeaway there was your original content is still the best for whether it is Google or for any other thing. And they had some data to prove it. So wanted to use that as a parting thought. Thanks.
All right. Who do you want to go to next?
Ivana.
All right. Madam Mic Drop.
I don't know if this is a mic drop, but I was really enthused about the conversation you guys were having about the financial applications of AI. And that made me think that as a business owner, you have absolutely got to be centered on not just optimizing your return on investment. Please watch the overall cycle you're creating. I just got a note from my newspaper that says that now I'm going to be getting my newspaper with my mail. This is yet one more way that they are looking at saving money, that's reducing my experience. And I finally, after about 3 or 4 of these variations that they have added, I have now canceled my subscription. So watch those financials and sort of like make sure that the recommendation for saving money that might improve your process, that might improve your productivity, just pay attention to what that's going to do to customer experience. And I'm going to send it over to John.
Yay, what's up? Look, guys, you are wasting time overthinking. Execution beats perfection. Get started, do something, get it done, move on. That's how you make money.
So mine will be, and I've been doing a bit of traveling, so it'll be about traveling. If you're traveling, make sure that you plan accordingly. I was planning on getting some work done on the plane, and I realized that my laptop cannot actually plug into the plane because it draws in too much power, and my battery life just went poof. So always make sure that you have backup plans and that what you have planned will actually work.
That's a good one. I like
I
that.
love that.
And that really pisses me off too, because I'm like, I'm just plugging my phone in and it's still not really
get it.
going up.
Yeah, it stays. 3 hours later, I'm still at 60%. What's
Like,
going
what the
on?
hell are they get like cutting out? Is it that big of a power draw that you have to like ration off the power for these things? Anyway,
Too many is plugged in.
yeah, too many
That's
plugs.
funny.
Anyway, another as usual good conversation. I'm glad that we're able to have conversations that we don't necessarily stick to a script because there is no script to stay to, and we can all flow with that conversation. I really enjoy that. Anyway, we hope to see you next Friday. It's almost what, mid-October already?
Yeah.
This is getting scary here, folks. I mean, Lawson is aging by the minute. I mean, it's know what to do without that. Anyway, hope to see you next week. Thanks for all the comments. Shout out to, let's see, we had Pierre, Ayana, Cordelia. Am I missing anybody? I think, and oh yeah, I already said Pierre. So thank you for the great comments. A lot of great information, and we appreciate it. And we hope to see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. See you then.